Good morning, I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. Got a lot to talk about. Frank Granet, he has worked now with the Price of Business for quite some time, bringing great content about the problem of over-medication of ADHD and ADD. He's with a great organization called CAOOY.org. That's the Coalition Against Over-Medicating Our Youth. He and I together have been working on what we call the Price of ADHD business. And my friend, it sure is a big one.
Yeah, you know what, Kevin? Since we began this campaign, great things are happening. And we're all about education, and our nonprofit that we've been collaborating on, the CAOOY, helps people understand, get to the root cause of health concerns before you go to that premature drug therapy. Today's topic, Kevin's no different. We have a repeat guest. She's so good at what she does. She's an award-winning author, the acclaimed book Psyched Out. She's an investigative reporter, journalist, currently with the Citizens Commission on Human Rights out in California. And she just penned an investigative article, just came out this last month, and it's Mind Games, the new female Viagra. So ladies out there, listen up. Our guest with us today has a lot to talk about, and warnings and concerns before you go to this premature drug therapy. Her name is Kelly O'Meara. Kelly, great to have you on with us again today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Kelly, welcome to the program. Kind of give us an overview of your background, your credentials that you bring to this conversation.
Well, I spent almost 20 years on Capitol Hill as a staffer in D.C. and left the Hill and became an investigative reporter at the Washington Times Insight magazine, where I wrote about the fraud of psychiatric diagnosing and the dangers of psychiatric drugs for nearly 7 years. After that, I left the Times and wrote a book called Psyched Out and have been covering the issue now for almost 20 years.
Very good, very good. Okay, go ahead, Frank.
Okay, and Kelly, you know, since I saw your article come out at the website of CCHR, Citizens Commission on Human Rights, and I'm going to spell it for our listeners out there, because guess what, Kelly? I know you know. Nobody knows how to pronounce the darn new drug, the new female Viagra drug called ADDYI. How do you pronounce that, by the way? Addy. Tell our listeners what is it, and why are you so concerned about it? And why did you write the article?
Well, this new drug is being touted as the female Viagra, and it is anything but that. It is not even remotely similar to Viagra. Okay, Viagra actually treats a male problem. It increases blood flow to the male genitals. Okay, so there's actually something it is actually treating. When you come to Addy doesn't treat anything, okay? It's a psychiatric diagnosis, which is really insulting to women, I believe, because what it's saying is that they are suffering from this bogus psychiatric disorder called hyposexual desire disorder, or female sexual interest arousal disorder. In other words, if a woman isn't desirous of having a sexual encounter, then she's suffering from a mental illness, okay, which is completely bogus. There is no science to support this diagnosis at all, and in fact, it's insulting, as I said earlier. Then the FDA only compounds the problem by approving this new drug, and I put that in quotes because what it is a thrice failed antidepressant. It is an antidepressant. And to say that you're going to treat this non-existent, this bogus diagnosis with a antidepressant, is just beyond the pale at this point. On top of that, there are many serious concerns that come with the drug. Even the FDA, in its approval of Addy, has attached black box warning, which is the most serious warning the FDA can put on a drug, and then went another step and is requiring doctors and pharmacists to basically take a class and get certified before they can prescribe it or dispense this drug.
Before a pharmacist even dispenses it now, just so listeners understand, a pharmacist really has to pass this course, right? It's like a course that they have to take, and
yes, and doctors also,
doesn't pass it, they can't dispense it.
That's right, and the fear that apparently, according to the clinical trials that were, that the FDA used to pass this drug, to put it on the market, if a woman drinks alcohol while taking this drug, there are serious adverse effects, fainting. The blood pressure will drop extremely low. You have dizziness, nausea, somnolence, fatigue. I mean, this is a very, very serious drug. And not only can you not drink any alcohol whatsoever while taking this drug, but you can't take other drugs, too. And, of course, the FDA did not list all of the drugs that you cannot take with it. So doctors are being schooled on how to prescribe this drug, and pharmacists are being schooled when they dispense it so that they can tell, the patient what they cannot do while they're taking this drug. This is a serious, serious drug for a non-existent psychiatric disorder.
Talk a little bit about what exactly the drug does to the patient.
Well, it's an antidepressant. That's what the drug is. It was first, put to the FDA as an antidepressant. They declined it. It was then resubmitted again after more clinical trials as an antidepressant. Again, the FDA said no. A third time, it was sent to the FDA, and again, it failed. But make no mistake, this is in the class of the serotonin antidepressants, which, as we all know, have their own set of black box warnings, such as suicidality, abnormal behavior, mania, psychosis. We can go down the list. The point being, this is, again, pathologizing female behavior, like they did with PMS. Do you recall that? When Eli Lilly, the American Psychiatric Association, came out and said, PMS is a mental disorder. So Eli Lilly repackaged Prozac as Serafem. All they did was change the color of the pill. It is
they make it a pink box, didn't they? Something like that.
So this is, again, we're pathologizing female behavior.
Mm-hmm. It's like we said, Kelly, on the pre-interview, we talked about how we can help women and families together because, if we have families that are dealing with the ADHD condition, we have moms out there that are battling this type of female problem. My recommendation, or our recommendation would be, seek out a good endocrinologist that specializes in women's health. There's a track record. There's many out there across the country right now that specialize in female hormone balance because in any type of sexual problem, whether it's a male, female, hormones do play a role in this. And there's many that we can, we're going to have an article on this coming out on U.S. Daily Review, and it's going to explain what hormones are actually involved with helping somebody, whether you're a man or a woman, keep that sexual drive where it needs to be. So, Kelly, we appreciate you being on our program and, bringing this to life. And, Kevin, it's like another diagnosis code. HSDD. God, let's put that in our catalog now, right?
I would.
And by the way, we only have about 30 seconds left.
Any questions whatsoever about this, to go to CCHRINT.org. They have an enormous amount of information about not only the drugs but the bogus diagnosis that are provided by the APA, and they're just a wealth of information.
Kelly, I need to get your website real quick before we wrap it up.
CCHRINT.org.
And do that one more time.
CCHRINT.org.
And then Frank can be reached at CAOOY.org. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kelly.
When we come back, much more for you right here on The Price of Business.